Welcome to the Space in Between podcast, a series where we will talk about everything and anything mental performance in a bite-sized fashion.
I'm Sienna and I'm here with Frida. We are both certified mental performance consultants from Ireland and Sweden. On this podcast, we share our knowledge and passion for all things sport and performance psychology. This includes all things mindset, exercise, sport, everyday life, and insights into how we help ourselves and others with developing our mindset.
Let's go.
So, Frida, what are we talking about today?
We are going to discuss something that every single person can relate to, ourselves included.
Okay.
Which also is every other episode, but especially today. We're going to talk about all or nothing thinking.
This is something that comes up a lot, or that we notice a lot when working with athletes or performers.
Yeah, it really does. And not even athletes, anybody. Yeah, working in a gym as well, you see it so much that we either do it all or we do nothing.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure everyone listening can relate to a lot of examples. The one you just mentioned, if I miss one workout, well, then what's the point? I'll just wait till next week. Or the classic, I'll start on Monday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'll do everything completely off track this week, but from Monday I'll do everything perfectly.
Yeah. We have definitely made a reel about this too that's super silly, where you're like pouring water into a glass and you spill and then you just pour all of the water outside the glass.
Yeah.
Like that, when you conceptualize it like that, that's how silly all or nothing thinking is.
Yeah, or it's like you trip going up the stairs, so then you decide to throw yourself all the way down the stairs.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I mean, it's silly when you give examples like this, but it is such a common way to think and act.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess what we're going to talk about today is maybe, why we are in these extremes, why we would want to be like this, why are we like this? And also, what can we do if we notice that all or nothing pattern?
So then the first thing we want to get into is, why do we fall into extremes?
That's a good question. I think that we like to feel like we have things in control. And when we do things, we want to do it all out a lot of the time, right? So if I'm going to start something, then I want to do it properly.
Yeah.
Whatever properly means, quotation marks here, because there's so many ways we can do something. So the gym is just an easy example. If I'm going to start the gym, then I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. There's no point in going to the gym if I'm only going to go once a week.
Yeah.
That's also not true though, right? Because in the long term, it's consistency that's more important than going to the gym 5 days a week and then missing 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, it's in a way harder to have balance because it's not as simple. It's not as simple as, right, I'm doing this 12-week program, so I'm going to eat healthy, go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week for 12 weeks. That's very clear cut. Whereas it's a bit more boring and difficult to conceptualize. Balance would be like going to the gym twice a week for the rest of my life. And I'm just meant to eat pretty good forever. That's, as humans, it can be nice to have things in boxes, time frames, like training for something.
I think just because we're talking about this now and it's something that we notice a lot, and it's easy for us to talk about exercise because we're so in that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
With people that, for example, are starting the gym and let's say we're really motivated, we're going 5 times, 4 times, and then something happens and we're like, no, now I can't go at all, or what's the point of going at all? So then we can lose that motivation. And it's way more helpful if we can go every other day or go twice a week.
Yeah. And that can be a difficult thing to navigate, especially if, for example, typically when someone goes all in, they're highly motivated.
Yeah.
So it is like, yeah, I want to do this 5 days a week. I want to eat this really different diet because it's going to be so much better for me. And it can be hard to actually say, do you know what? Maybe now's the time to, let's just do twice a week working out. Let's just have a treat every other day in your diet, because you'll be able to maintain that. It's difficult to hold back, because in the short term, we want to see changes quick. That's how we are programmed as people. We want the change.
And I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the reason why all or nothing is unhelpful is because of how extreme it is. And that's why it is not helpful when we think about long-term progress, especially, or when we're doing something, because We want to focus on the process and taking it day by day and those small wins that we can stack every single day. That's how change happens, not by going all in for a really short period of time, regardless of what it is that we're doing. Really, it's about stacking those small wins over time. And that can be really hard if we have that all or nothing thinking, because, it goes back to that idea of, well, if I'm not doing everything the way that I should every single day, then what's the point? Compared to if we do a little bit every single day, you will see that change over time.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if I think about sports, all or nothing thinking can creep in there. We make one mistake and the whole performance is ruined. Or after the game, no, didn't play well because I missed that one opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see how that impacts many different areas, right? When we are thinking in extremes. And the reality is that life is not extremes.
No.
Life is a lot of the middle.
Yeah. And the people who probably achieve the most success long-term, if you will, is the people who live in the middle. Like they're constantly doing something. They're constantly taking small steps every week, every month, not just for, 3 months of the year and then falling off the wagon and then starting again next January.
Yeah, this really reminds me of this quote by a running coach, Jeff Cunningham, and where he says, "It's better to be consistently good than occasionally great." And that goes in with this idea as well, right? That we want that consistency. So something that I have talked to some people about when it comes to progress, and let's say we're talking about habits, right? Can we see it as a dial instead of an on or off switch? So on this dial, let's say there's 10 levels of the dial. That means that we can dial it up and we can dial it down depending on what's going on in life, because life will happen. There will be things that will challenge what you're doing. Even if you're in a nice groove, whatever it is, something will happen. It's life.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen. So then instead of just turning off that switch or whatever that we're doing right now with that all or nothing thinking, okay, well, what are the different levels that we can work at right now?
Absolutely. So then even on a really good week, maybe we are up 8, 9, 10. But on a week where maybe, we have a lot of work things going on or family things coming up, it's like, okay, maybe this week I can be a 3, 4, 5. We're not going down to like 0 or 1. We're kind of maintaining some good habits and behaviors, even if it is dialed down slightly from time to time.
Yeah, exactly. And even if we go from a 8 to a 1, that's okay. It's okay to have those changes as well. This is also where self-compassion comes in. Be like, okay, this is what today was like. Tomorrow is a new day. And that even goes with whatever is going on during your day. Let's talk about nutrition as an example, just because it's easy to kind of conceptualize this. So let's say, we're trying to eat a certain way. We know that we're going to be out and about today, and that's going to make it challenging to eat the way that we want. All right, let's start with having a nice breakfast that we feel good about. And then we can, whatever lunch that we have that type of lunch, whatever dinner it is. But out of all of those 3 meals, we have one that we're like, okay, I have complete control of this one. I feel good about that one. Instead of thinking, well, I'm going to be out and about all day today anyway, so I might as well just have dry cereal or something. Yeah, that's a horrible example, but you know what I'm saying. So once again, it's kind of about looking at it through that dial. Just because a part of the day isn't ideal doesn't mean that the whole day doesn't have to be ideal.
Yeah, and I think of that, if we talk about taking each individual day, but also taking there's so many opportunities in every single day to make a good choice. And there's also going to be many opportunities where maybe you do go slightly off track, whatever your track is, like if we're talking fitness or nutrition or you're training as an athlete. Even if we go slightly off track with this one meal or skip a workout, next time I have the opportunity to make a good decision, I'm just going to make that good decision. We don't have to wait for a new day or a new week or a new month. We can just acknowledge, okay, maybe that wasn't the ideal thing, or I would have preferred to do something else. But next time an opportunity arises, I'm just going to get back on the path that I want to be on, rather than waiting for a significant moment to change.
Yeah. And I think with that too, what's important to remember, first and foremost, that the right choice for you is relative, right? So this is something with this as well, like good, bad, right, wrong, all or nothing. It's all relative and it depends on what we're doing. Okay. And then the second thing is we want to think about the language that we're using. So instead of saying I failed today, maybe we can say I adjusted. to X, Y, and Z today. So that we're recognizing what type of language is it that we're using.
To add to that, with the language, sometimes the way we speak about ourselves is very negative or accusational nearly. That was the wrong choice, or why did I do that? But something that can be very helpful is to have a open curiosity to, okay, let's see how I can do in this situation, or let's see how this goes, or let's see, how I can adapt to maybe the day went unexpectedly, or this performance has gone unexpectedly. So having curiosity can make it a lot easier to adapt, because it's not like this has to go perfectly, It's like, let's see how this goes. And I'm going to adapt based on how it goes rather than what I expect to happen.
Yeah. And going into what you said there as well, and we've kind of touched on a little bit, looking at each day as a 1% opportunity to do something, right? So we're looking at micro adjustments or micro improvements that we can do instead of looking at it black and white. So what are those tiny decisions that we can make in a day, or, throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the weeks, throughout the months. But I guess one of the main things with this is recognizing when we fall into that trap of thinking all or nothing. Those are the moments where we want to recognize, okay, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And if you notice, oh yeah, I'm doing the all nothing thinking, I am acting based on that way, well, now you have an opportunity to challenge that. So also seeing it that way, like, oh, man, I am now falling into this trap. This is an opportunity for me to choose to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we always say awareness is the first step.
Yeah.
If you don't know that you think that way or have those tendencies, then why would you listen to this amazing podcast and make any changes?
Yeah. I mean, what we don't know, we don't know.
Yeah, sadly.
And I mean, like we said, the first step is awareness, and the second step is, what do we do when we have that awareness? And once again, those choices, I think one of the things that can be really difficult with the all or nothing is also the blame we put on ourselves if we are unable to do what we want to do for whatever reason, or if we make choices that makes us feel guilty.
Yeah.
That's where that self-compassion comes in, and the curiosity. It's okay. Nothing is perfect, ever. And neither are you. I'm sorry, my friend. Neither am I. Neither is Sienna. I don't know. Sienna's pretty good.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So obviously we have discussed this in many different ways, I feel, while also having the same idea throughout. But I guess what we're finishing on there is like, the first thing to do is to notice, like, do I have all or nothing thinking patterns? And if I do, can I make a different choice? And the first step is noticing that, and then even noticing that is a win, And then maybe you won't be able to immediately make a different choice. Like maybe your initial thought will be, I'll wait till Monday, Yeah. But maybe you could say, do you know what? I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to start on a Friday and be wild.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just wrapping it up, like you said, step one, notice. And then with that noticing as well, depending on the situations where we notice this pattern, what type of dial can you create? Can you make it 5 steps? Can you make it 10 steps so that you can turn it up and down? And then focusing on those daily micro improvements instead of perfection. And lastly, maybe you can wrap that one up, the self-blame. Replace the self-blame with curiosity.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up, I think.
Suppose you're right.
I guess the last most important thing, as always, to any podcast episode you will hear from us is to challenge yourself to keep using the space in between.
Ah, that's a good one. But actually, before we finish, just a little PSA, public service announcement. Our YouTube, our new series that we have uploaded. Well, part 1 is up. Part 2 is coming. Actually, part 2 will be up when this episode comes out. A Stretch for the Mind. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's a good one.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Very excited about it.
Basically, every episode we're combining the physical and the mental. So we're covering a sports psychology concept through dynamic and static stretching. Some people might call it yoga, but I don't know. The main point being the sports psychology side of things. We are not yoga instructors or pretending to be, but it can be helpful to move and to learn. And then we can apply some of these things in our own performances.
Yeah, so definitely check that one out. So you're not only using the space in between by listening to this podcast, but you're also using the space in between by looking at those lovely videos and challenging yourself in a new way.
Yeah, enjoy.